I'm really excited and proud of our team. It's hard to be in too much of a celebratory mood until we get word on the extent of Ryan Nembhard's injury. We've been doing this 33 years, and I don't know if I've ever been part and as proud of a team as I am tonight. We had guys on minute restrictions. O'Connell's ankle's all blown up, and then to lose Nembhard, at 7 assists, no turnovers at the time, and find a way against a really, really good team. Just really proud of our guys. Couldn't be more proud. This one was a little bigger than basketball. The togetherness and the belief in those huddles and their desire to fight for their brother is what makes our culture pretty special.
Questions for either Ryan or Greg? Just go ahead.
Greg, you were saying that you're kind of waiting to hear on Nembhard. Do you have any sort of preliminary anything? It sounded like he said, I broke it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a right wrist. I mean, whether it was broke or dislocated, I think, until we get the x-rays back, I don't think we know. So, but, when something like that happens to you, I think generally you have a pretty good idea. He's a tough little dude, and we certainly wouldn't be sitting here tied for third in this league if it weren't for him.
Was he taken to an area hospital or something?
I don't know. I was coaching a game, but yeah, we've got one of my assistant coaches and our associate AD are with him, so hopefully we'll get some. Yeah, he's at a hospital somewhere. We'll get some information soon.
Hey, Coach, in the final couple of minutes of the game coming down the stretch, you held St. John scoreless for a good 3 minutes. What did the defense do so well to stifle the offense?
We tried to force them into, we were trying to force them into 2-point shots really the entire game and try to play those ball screens with two people. And, we were fortunate. I thought we did a pretty good job on Champagny. And, let's be honest, he missed a couple that he normally makes as well. And you need a little good fortune to win a game like this. And then when they went small, which is the lineup that kind of got them back in the game in the first half, we decided to go small with them. And I thought that group, it's a group that I would be certain has never played together this year for us. They kind of figured it out and, made some good defensive plays. And, even the play that they made at the rim to cut it to one. I think Dylan made the play at the rim. We had a good verticality. He took it in the chest. He had to make a tough shot to cut it to one. And, we executed some out-of-bounds stuff. We just didn't make the free throws. And obviously put ourselves in a position where they still had a chance there late.
And then also, too, you blew this team out back home. You come into Carnesecca Arena. It's a pretty close match the whole time. What does this crowd do to an opposing team here in Carnesecca?
Well, I mean, if you're going to build a building for this style of play, this is the building. You don't feel like there's any room on the sidelines or on the baselines, and their pressure, really can get to you. And fortunately we got enough stops. Last 10 minutes of the first half, they scored. They were able to get into their pressure, and then we made some mistakes. And they have a way of making you play different than you want to play. They speed you up, and that was really our message to the team at halftime. Is like they want to play that way. We do not want to play that way. So we have to resist the urge to get in a hurry. And I thought the first 10 minutes of the game we followed that to perfection, and I thought the second half we were much better. But they had a 10-minute stretch in that first half where the game was going exactly how they wanted.
Right, Trey Alexander picks up where Ryan left off, doesn't have to do that. It's 5 years. What can you say about his efforts?
Well, he's been terrific. He had 13 and 4 assists and 1 turnover the other night. The win against Marquette. He had 4 turnovers at halftime, and I know he was really disappointed with the way he played the first half. And he has no turnovers the second half when he's got to play the whole time and be the primary ball handler. For a freshman like Nembhard to go 7 to zip, assisted turnovers against this pressure, and then for Trey as a freshman, 6 assists, 4 turnovers, and no turnovers the second half. That's a pretty special group, along with Kaluma. Had a first game back after being out for a significant amount of time.
And with those three, how confident are you with this squad core having achieved so much this season, not just for the future, but the rest of the season as well?
Well, I'll let Ryan answer that because he practices with them every day.
It's really cool to see them from the first couple workouts of this year in September to now, not in the same group. Just their maturity and their approach to the game is not of that as freshmen. They approach the game with maturity now. They're still willing to get that extra work in, but they understand they have to listen to coaches and training staff about what they can and can't do with their bodies, just as far as how many minutes you put on. But it's really cool to see their maturity and how they've changed their style of play from the first couple games to now. It's completely night and day difference, and I think our success is a direct reflection of that.
In terms of the way you game plan for this team, I mean, Champagny and Alexander, everybody knows about. Wheeler, everybody knows about. You know, St. John's got some contributions from some unusual places today. Stanley, number 4, had a maybe his best game of their season. Naiwi, number 22. When they have guys who you aren't expecting to have big games, how do you react to that?
Well, when you play a team like St. John's, it's give and take. We kept Kalkbrenner in the lane a lot to try to plug up those driving lanes and have some length at the rim. And by doing that, we gave some open shots on the perimeter, both to Stanley and Niaiwi, is that how he says it? I apologize if I butchered that name. But so they hit some perimeter shots, and he hit a big. Niaiwi hit a big 3 late, but we were willing to give that up, and obviously we didn't know their big wasn't going to play, so we had to kind of change our plan on the fly. But our focus when we play St. John's is Champaign. Like, we're going to do whatever we can to make his looks at the basket as difficult as possible. And if that means somebody else gets an open shot, so be it. We hope at the end of the day we can score 1 extra point by doing that.
3 more questions.
Hey Ryan, you're a senior right now. First of all, congrats on the great game. How fun has the 6-game stretch been as you guys continuously win towards the Big East tournament, especially being one of the older guys on the team?
It's really cool. Obviously, winning 6 in a row helps. But I was talking with one of our teammates in the locker room before the game. Just to see the camaraderie of this group change from coming in as strangers. That's kind of what happens when you have a completely new group. It's not like there was a core returning from last year who just got plugged pieces in. We were complete strangers in June and July trying to get to know each other, and then you throw us on the court in September. It takes a while to build those relationships and build that trust. And I think that relationship and that trust that's been built is the reason we're having success right now. And so it's just really cool to see that. And I think the young guys are starting to understand that's kind of the reason why.
Right, you've had some multifaceted forwards over the last couple of years of Martini and DJ, and now you get Ryan out of the Division II ranks. Has his experience made it an easier transition for you to fit into the system that Ryan can follow up on that?
I don't think there's any question. I watched, I followed their program. My daughter played volleyball at Northwest Missouri 3 years ago, I guess. So as a freshman, and then she ended up leaving. But so obviously, when you have a program, and I spent the first 12 years of my career as a Division II coach. When a program's having that kind of success, I think if you're an intelligent coach, you want to try to figure out why. So I watched Ben's team, always watched the tournament games that were on TV, but also did a little deeper dive into what they were doing and how they were doing it. And when he decided to enter the transfer portal, given the situation we were in and the shooting that we were losing, the one thing that I think transfers is the ability to shoot the basketball. And he was a 46 or 47% three-point shooter there last year, and that carries over. I had no idea, just because it was COVID. I didn't meet him until he showed up on campus. Everything was done virtually. But what he's done in our locker room and on our practice floor on a daily basis, the way he shared, there's a reason they were successful at Northwest Missouri State. They played the right way. They approached each day in the proper way, and he's brought that to our locker room and to our practice floor. And while he's having unbelievable success on the court, especially during this stretch, what he's done off the floor and the way he sets the tone for each practice with those young guys, it's been incredible. And it will be with you talk about leaving a legacy. leaving a legacy that goes beyond basketball is a true legacy. And that's what he's done, because he's impacted those guys in so many ways. And to his point, and he may address it, he let the relationships, he's 24 and they're 18, he let that kind of happen naturally. He didn't come in and demand, like, I've won 3 national championships, look at me, listen to me. He got to know them, he got to learn about them, and then he began to lead them. And that's the sign of elite leadership. And it's a big reason, he and Kalkbrenner and O'Connell and Fizel, guys that have been around a little bit, that's the reason we've been successful.
Ryan, you want to answer that?
It's been an unbelievable experience for me, basketball-wise, just because of the differences from the Division II level to Division I. But the one thing that, and I think it's just been instilled in me for my 5 years at Northwest, when you do the right things and you build those habits from the beginning, those habits are hard to deviate from. And I just try and bring the same habits that I had at Northwest. Fortunate to be coached by some amazing coaches down there, Coach McCollum, Coach Schneider, and Coach Myers. They did a great job with me, because when you saw me out of high school, there was no way I could even play at the Division II level, and they had a year to get me ready. So it's just really cool to see my transformation from high school to Northwest and then to here. And it would not be possible without Coach McCollum and Coach Schneider at Northwest and the confidence that they had in me when I didn't even have confidence in myself. And so that's kind of what I try to do with these younger kids right away. Was you could see they were as talented as they could be, but when they'd get in practice and make a mistake, their head would go down. And so by believing in them and giving them confidence, I don't care if you make a mistake, just make it going hard. It's been really cool to see their like I said earlier, their maturity and their transformation in that regard. It's amazing what you do when you believe in people.
Any last question?
Thank you.
Thanks.